In the heart of Texas, the ground never stops shaking. The deeper they drill, the darker the truth becomes. Power isn't earned here, it's taken, ripped straight from the dirt, soaked in sweat, money, and betrayal. And when the oil runs dry, what's left behind isn't just dust, it's the cost of every deal, every lie. Every man who thought he could own the land, the sun crawls over the endless plains, turning the rigs into black iron monsters against a blood-red sky. The hum of engines cuts through the silence like a warning, something's coming. The townsfolk can feel it. The air smells different now, like smoke and fear. The men who built their lives around the wells know that nothing lasts forever. Not oil, not money, not loyalty. They once called this place the land of promise. Every gush of crude meant a new truck, a bigger house, another chance to rise above the dust. But every rise casts a longer shadow. And in those shadows, the ones who lost everything wait, watching, planning, waiting for their turn to strike back. Somewhere in the distance, a man stares at the horizon, his hand stained with the color of the land. He's not a hero, and he's not looking for redemption. He's looking for payback. The same people who made him rich took everything that mattered. Now the line between business and blood is gone. The companies say they're building a future, but no one talks about what's buried under it. The land remembers. It holds secrets, whispers of deals made in the dark, of promises that burned away under the Texas sun. The wind carries the sound of drills and danger. The people here, they're used to both, but this time, the storm won't pass. It's been building for too long. And when it breaks, no one, not the oil kings in their glass towers, not the men in their hard hats, will be safe. This is where the fight for power ends. Not in a boardroom, not in a desert, but in the heart of the land itself. Night falls heavy across the plains, and with it comes the hum of power lines stretching like veins through the dark. The oil fields glow under the floodlights, not with pride, but with exhaustion. Every well burns like a warning flare, screaming that time is running out. The people here move in silence, shadows in motion, each carrying a story carved deep into the dirt. The boom days are gone. What's left now is the scramble, a last, desperate grab for whatever's left in the ground. Men who once stood shoulder to shoulder now circle each other like wolves, their eyes cold, their hearts colder. Greed has a scent out here, sharp, metallic, and impossible to wash off. They say money doesn't buy peace, but in Texas, it can buy silence. And silence is the most dangerous thing of all. In the city, the powerful hide behind glass and steel. They wear smiles polished enough to blind you, but their hands are no cleaner than the men in the fields. They talk about energy, about progress, about the future, but every deal signed in those rooms drips with the same oil that stains the ground. They've turned the land into a currency, the people into numbers, and the truth into something too costly to speak aloud. Meanwhile, the ones who've been left behind start to whisper. Workers unpaid, families displaced, land poisoned beyond saving. The earth is tired, and so are they. The wells that once promised wealth now spit up sludge and regret. The wine that once carried the sound of hope now carries something else, the murmurs of revenge. One man, once loyal to the empire, starts to see the cracks. He's seen the lies written in ink and blood. He's seen friends vanish after asking the wrong questions. The company's power stretches far, beyond law, beyond reason. But even the strongest empire can fall when its foundation rots. And this one's been rotting for years. He drives through the night, headlights cutting through dust and memory. Every mile takes him deeper into the truth he's been trying to ignore. The faces of the fallen haunt him, the father who lost his job, the family whose will turned black, the woman who disappeared after speaking out. They called it progress, but progress has a body count. The deeper he goes, the more he realizes the land itself is alive, angry, pulsing beneath his tires. The fields aren't just fields anymore. They're graves. Graves of the innocent, graves of the guilty. Each rig a tombstone for another broken promise. Far away, lightning splits the sky. The storm that's been waiting on the horizon begins to move, slow and deliberate. Nature doesn't take sides, but it remembers. And the wind starts to whisper the names of those who took too much for too long. Back in the city, a new deal is about to be signed, one that could change everything or end it all. The boardroom is spotless, the men inside colder than the marble floor beneath them. They toast to power, not realizing that power has already started to slip through their fingers. Outside, thunder answers their laughter. The man in the truck keeps driving. He knows what must be done. The truth won't fix what's broken, but it can burn down what's corrupt. And maybe that's enough. Maybe destruction is the only kind of justice left in a world built on lies. The road stretches endlessly ahead, a dark ribbon slicing through the land. He presses on, headlights flickering, heart heavy but certain. The reckoning isn't coming, it's already here. The land has waited long enough, and when it takes back what's owed, it won't leave anything behind. The world looks calm from a distance, rigs standing tall against the horizon. Pipes humming with life, the steady rhythm of a machine built on greed. But up close, the calm is an illusion. The ground trembles with pressure, with something waiting to give way. The oil may still flow, but everything else is leaking trust, loyalty, sanity. What was once a dream now feels like, he said. Start with Section 3, more unique for 1,000-character chat said. Section 3, fire in the veins. The storm doesn't just arrive, it devours the horizon. Clouds crawl across the sky like beasts, heavy with rage, thick with thunder that rattles the bones of the earth. The air turns electric, charged with everything unsaid, everything buried too long. In the distance, the oil fields flare alive, fires climbing high into the night, painting the dark with red and gold. It looks almost beautiful if you forget what it's burning. The land is alive with movement. Trucks roar down dirt roads, engines growling like caged animals. Workers rush to shut down the rigs before the winds take them, but it's too late. The ground beneath them shakes, pipes screaming as pressure breaks free. Somewhere between the chaos and the fire, the man who once believed in the promise of oil stands still. The same man who thought he could control the land now realizes it was never his to command. The land was only ever borrowing him, waiting for the day it would take itself back. Inside the glass towers miles away, the rich men watch the chaos unfold on screens. Their faces remain still, cold as marble. Numbers fall, markets crash, calls go unanswered. They built their empire on the idea that the earth could be tamed, but you can't own something that's alive. You can only provoke it, and when it bites back, it bites hard. The man returns to the fields. The storm rains fire and dirt, lightning splitting the sky open like a wound. He walks through the blaze, boots sinking into mud that smells of metal and blood. Every step forward feels like walking into a past that refuses to stay buried. The ghosts of those who lost everything whisper through the smoke, the ones who were promised hope and got ruin instead. Their voices blend with the wind, chanting one word that echoes louder than the thunder: enough. He reaches the heart of the site, the rig that started it all. Once a symbol of progress, now a monument to greed. The control room hums like a dying heart, screens flickering, alarms blaring. He knows what he has to do. It's not about saving anyone anymore, it's about ending the lie. He looks at the switch, the one that will shut it all down for good. It's small, simple, almost fragile. Funny how something so small can decide the fate of giants. Behind him, the storm screams. Ahead of him, flames dance in twisted joy. He hesitates for only a second, just long enough to remember what it felt like to believe. Then he pulls the lever. The ground erupts. The rig groans like a wounded animal, metal twisting under the weight of truth. Flames burst through the cracks, climbing higher than ever before. In that moment, it's not destruction, it's release. The land exhales for the first time in years. The fire consumes everything: greed, lies, power, until all that's left is silence and rain. The city watches from afar, the skyline flickering as the lights die one by one. The empire that ruled the dirt now sinks into it. Executives make desperate calls, investors vanish, and the name that once commanded fear is reduced to smoke. In the ruins of the field, the man stands alone. The fire behind him, the storm above him, and the open road ahead. He doesn't smile, but something inside him loosens the weight of years, of guilt, of silence. The land is free now. It will heal slow and steady, the way only nature can. He turns away, steps into the rain, and disappears into the distance. The flames fade behind him, but their light lingers not as destruction, but as a warning. Power built on lies will always burn. The land doesn't forget, and it never forgives. The storm passes. Morning comes. The fields are quiet again, but different, softer, alive. The birds return, cautious but curious. From the ashes, the first hint of green breaks through the dirt. Life, stubborn as ever, begins again. The land always finds a way to reclaim itself. And somewhere far beyond the flames and the wreckage, a whisper drifts across the plains, the sound of the earth breathing, the calm after the reckoning. The fire didn't destroy the land. It cleansed it. And now the story starts over on its own terms. Dawn crawls in slow, heavy, and gray, the kind of light that doesn't promise hope, just truth. Smoke rises from what's left of the rigs, twisting into the sky like the last breath of a dying beast. The storm has passed, but its mark remains, deep scars carved into the ground, into the hearts of those who survived. The fields that once shone with gold-black oil now glisten with rain, washed clean of illusions. Silence spreads over the land, thick and powerful. For the first time in years, the earth is still. Somewhere among the wreckage, the man stands watching the sun claw its way over the horizon. His clothes are soaked, his hands blackened, but his eyes are clear. He's not proud, not triumphant, just awake. The weight of what's been done hangs over him, but so does something else, peace. For too long, he carried the burden of others' greed, their lies, their promises written in smoke. Now the lies are gone, burned away. The truth, however brutal, has finally found its voice dot in the distance. Sirens echo, a faint reminder that the world is already trying to rebuild what it lost. The powerful will call it a tragedy. The investors will call it sabotage. But those who lived it will call it what it truly is, a cleansing, a reckoning. The land took back what belonged to it. No courts, no negotiations, no deals. Just balance. Nature doesn't care about power. It remembers who respected it and who didn't. And when the time comes, it takes what it's owed. The man walks through the ruins. Past twisted metal and scorched, signs bearing the company's name, a name that once commanded fear. Now it's nothing more than ash and memory. The workers who remain gather in silence, not speaking, just breathing the air that feels different now. It's cleaner, honest. There's pain in their faces, but also something else, the faint spark of freedom. They may have lost everything, but what's left is real. No lies, no chains. Just the truth and the land beneath their feet. He keeps walking until he reaches the edge of the field, where green shoots of grass push through the black soil. Tiny, fragile, defiant, life finding a way, as it always does. He kneels down, running his hand through the wet earth, feeling the pulse of something ancient and forgiving. For the first time, he doesn't feel like he's standing on the land. He feels like he's part of it. The difference between owning and belonging has never been clearer. Far away, the city is waking up to chaos. News channels flash headlines about explosions, corruption, betrayal. The empire is crumbling in real time, its leaders exposed, its secrets dragged into the light. But in the chaos, something else happens. People start to listen. They see the truth for what it is. This isn't just about oil or money. It's about power. About the cost of taking without giving. The storm wasn't just a disaster. It was a mirror. And now everyone has to look into it. The man turns back one last time. The fields stretch endlessly before him, a blend of ruin and rebirth. It's not perfect, and it never will be, but it's alive, honest, and untamed. He takes a deep breath and walks away, leaving behind the ghosts and the fire, carrying only the lessons burned into his soul. As he disappears into the horizon, the screen fades to black. A single line remains quiet, haunting, final. The land never forgets. Then, the sound of the wind returns, soft, steady, endless, and with it, the title appears in burning letters across the darkness. Landman Season 2 Finale. The Reckoning. Only on Paramount Plus doth the music swells one last time, not as a roar, but as a heartbeat, fading slow, steady, alive. The world may rebuild, but the land will always remember who tried to own it.